This article lists the oldest extant freestanding buildings in Scotland. In order to qualify for the list, a structure must be a recognisable building, incorporate features of building work from the claimed date to at least 1.5 meters in height, and or be a listed building. This consciously excludes ruins of limited height, roads and statues. Bridges may be included if they otherwise fulfill the above criteria. Dates for many of the oldest structures have been arrived at by radiocarbon dating and should be considered approximate. The main chronological list includes buildings that date from no later than 1199 AD, although the oldest building on the list is the Neolithic farmhouse at Knapp of Howe. The earliest period is dominated by chambered cairns, numerous examples of which can be found from the 4th millennium BC through to the early Bronze Age. Estimates of the number of Brock sites throughout the country, which date from the Iron Age, range from just over 100 to over 500. However, only a small percentage are sufficiently well preserved for them to be included here, and some of those that could be remain undated, as there are relatively few structures from the latter half of the 1st millennium AD and a significant number from the 12th century. The latter group is placed in a sublist. There are larger numbers of extant qualifying structures from 1200 onwards, and separate lists for 13th century castles and religious buildings are provided. The oldest buildings in many of the council areas in the more urbanized central belt date from after the 14th century. A separate list showing oldest buildings by council area is provided. There is also a supplementary list of qualifying structures for which no confirmed date of construction is available, and a short listing of substantial prehistoric structures that are not buildings as defined above. Main list: Neolithic and Bronze Age, Iron Age, Early Historic Period, 12th century, 13th century. Castles, religious buildings by council area. The following are amongst the oldest buildings in each council area of Scotland. Other structures. Undated buildings. The following are very old buildings that meet the qualifying criteria but for which no reliable date of construction has emerged. Other prehistoric constructions. The following are very old human constructions that do not fit the above criteria for a building.